What is spice? Most spicy romance authors and smut readers say there are 5 levels to spice. I think there are 7, and the spice must flow.
And let's talk about love. I'm feeling alright. And let's talk about love. Yeah, baby.
Hi, I'm JLD, published author of Spicy Romance. Do check out the Breaking Fancy trilogy. It is available on Amazon and KU. Links are below. I think there are 7 levels to spice. A lot of people say there are only 5, 1 through 5. I think there are 7. And the reason I think there are 7 is because I think 2 categories are being left out. One is 0, starting with the number 0, because I do believe 0 content of anything romantic is a thing. You're going to find that in children's works, completely clean literature, possibly science fiction, fantasy, even adult genre books that have absolutely no romance in them or any innuendos in them at all. I would consider 0 spice. If we're going to go to level 1, then you're going to have some kind of romantic involvement in the story. Now, I'm not just talking about romantic genre books. I'm talking about all genre of books, all genres of books. Romance specifically, of course, is going to be more in the genre of your higher spice levels, but in your lower spice levels, any genre will do. And as your primary genre, it would probably be science fiction or fantasy or a mystery or thriller, suspense, that kind of thing. Supernatural, even. But if you're getting into your higher level spices, it's sort of obligatory at that point. You're going to have some kind of romance as your major genre. So you can have a major genre and a subgenre of romance, and then you have a major genre of romance and a subgenre of science fiction or fantasy, say, like the romantasy genres that are really, really cleaning up right now. So let's start with level 1. Level 1 is clean and innocent. So there could be a little bit of romance in the story. It could be innuendo, but there's absolutely no touching, no kissing, nothing like that. Mostly it's going to be focused more on story and character development. And if there's any hint of romance, it is usually just hinted at. Level 2, clean, and now notice I separated clean from innocent because there are innocent romances, which I could see as maybe younger genre romances, but clean romances definitely are going to be a little more romance oriented. Some physical contact, you're going to have some touching, you're going to have some kissing, you're going to have maybe some suggestion of full intimacy, possibly fade to black, possibly closed door scenes, but they won't be shown at all, and they'll be very few and far between. Number 3, as we ramp up the romantic content of the story and the intimate content of the story, getting into more of a sexual content story, number 3 is going to give you a lot more physical contact. It's going to give you lots of kissing, touching. You're going to have hugging and caressing and that kind of thing. So you're going to have a little bit more detail in these. You still probably tend to have closed door sex scenes or fade to black sex scenes. But there might be some where you have some really light detail. Maybe you kind of get into it and then that's your fade to black. But also, you may have one that's a little very detailed and sees the characters all the way through their intimate moment, but it's maybe just one time in the whole book, not a whole lot of it. It's like that's just this one little instance that happened. Level 4. In level 4, we're getting really into the spice now. This is like the sweet spot for smut categories. I would say 4 and 5 are really your sweet spot for smut and spice lovers. You're going to have sex on page. You're going to have, it's of course has to be a romantically oriented story. You're going to have very detailed, very frequent and explicit sex scenes in these level 4 books. And also, like I said, they're kind of the sweet spot for smut. Now, your character development, character arcs, and story are still very, very important. So, and we'll kind of get into the difference between like smut and say pornography, because the actual devil in the details there is the story important. Um, In most level 3 stories, if you took all of the sex out of it, if you had a sex scene or a couple of closed door sex scenes, if you took that out, it would not affect the story in any way. In level 4, you kind of need to have those sex scenes in there, those intimate moments need to be there, and they do actually affect your characters and move your plot along. They are integral to the story. I tend to write around level 4 spice. I used to think I was a level 5 because I was like shameless with the detail. But as I've been more exposed to other genres of spice, I realize I'm probably definitely just a level 4. Level 5. Level 5 is going to be frequent, explicit, and a lot of the story is going to revolve around the romantic sexual relationship of your characters. Sometimes more than a pair of them, which is fine. We don't cast shade here, baby. So that's going to be the plot is still important, but it's less important then the sex scenes. Sex scenes might be longer, more frequent. They might be a whole lot less vanilla for sure. You might be getting into your BDSM market here and things like that, which is, again, no shade for me. All creation is good creation with me. The spice must flow. Now, my final category, which I don't think anybody else uses, honestly, this is just my personal classification, is level 6. And level 6 is your straight up pornography stuff. There's no plot. Characters get together for the purpose and intent of banging each other. There's just no other reason for this even to be read. It's just going to be a sex fest. And you know what? I know that there are actually some, I think, reverse harem books that are in this category where they have a very little thin plot in the background, but it's really exists for the female character just to go from, person to guy to guy in her castle of her castle of dominatrixing or whatever. Sorry, whatever the kids are calling it these days. Oh, that's terrible. Um, it's just to basically the sex moves the plot along itself, if there is one. Like I said, very thin. So the difference with smut and the spicy books and writing and pornography is pornography, like I said, has no plot really. It has situational things that are there to induce sexual experience of the characters. For smut and spice, now you have something that has well-rounded characters. It's got a good plot. It has a healthy plot line, arcs, changes, twists, turns, development, growth, maybe even some sort of a life lesson but something. The characters are going through a complete story by the end and have learned something. And so do you sometimes. I find with a lot of these relationship romance stories, I actually will learn a lot more about myself and my own psychology, even because relationships are the most important part of our lives. Let's be honest. And sexual relationships are the most important part of those relationships. So I find I really do. I love smut now. I used to be a little like hee hee about it, but I'm down with the smut now. Obviously, I write spice. So those are my 6 levels. I hope this was helpful for you. I know a lot of people have sort of varying definitions of these levels, but with my 7 levels, I feel like I'm hitting every single thing. You can agree or not, and that's perfectly fine. It's just kind of how the thing I use to navigate spicy books and romance and heat. Once again, I am JLD. Thank you for visiting my hotspot. Do check out my links below. I offer services in writing coaching, in creating book covers, and also in publication services. Please check out my website, barnowlbooks.net, and check out my books on Amazon and KU. Links below. And don't forget to kiss that like button.
And let's talk about love. I'm feeling alright, and let's talk about love.